India's national capital is grabbing international attention for its air quality, but a smog of complacency seems to have pervaded the Indian authorities over this silent public health emergency. Let's get to the facts first. Delhi is gasping for air once again, and the city has turned into a gas chamber. For the first time this season, the air quality index docked as high as crossing the levels of 700. This happened at around 10 a.m. This has then crossed 700 again as we speak. The graphic on your screen is showing how bad that is according to the air quality index scale. The metrics don't even register figures crossing 500. That's how bad the situation is. The AQI is considered to be hazardous if it is found to be anywhere above 300. So if you happen to be in this part of India, what does this mean for you? A fresh analysis showing that the average citizen living in this region of India can expect to lose about 7 years. 7 years of life expectancy. That's what all of this is boiling down to. Air quality once again failing to meet the World Health Organization's guidelines for fine particulate pollution, which means that an average Indian is more likely to die due to air pollution than other risks. Let's give you an example here. The air quality in India is so poor that over 1.2 million deaths in the country in 2017 can be attributed to air pollution. That is 1 in every 8 deaths in the country, or 12.5% of the total number of deaths in the year 2017. That is more than the total deaths due to cancer last year, which stands somewhere around 7 lakhs. The fact is, pollution in India may just be a greater issue than terrorism. Then why till date has no political leader pitched pollution as an electoral issue? And that brings us to the causes. The uncontrollable climate factors such as less wind coupled with stubble burning in neighbouring Punjab and Haryana have made matters worse. The central government tried. It gave out subsidies to farmers to purchase machinery to convert waste into fertilizers instead of burning it. But that effort saw little traction. It seems to have gone up in smoke because the farmers are lamenting that despite this government discount, the machinery is still expensive and they don't have a choice but to burn crop residue to clear their field for the next crop. The Punjab Chief Minister, Captain Amrinder Singh, has gone out of his way and expressed anguish. He wrote to the Prime Minister, underlining the need to rise above political affiliations and regional considerations and fight the battle together. The Punjab government has initiated action against almost 3,000 farmers so far. This after 20,000 cases of stubble burning were reported till the 1st of November. The Delhi government, for its part, has declared a public health emergency. It has banned all construction activities till the 5th of November. Those are the measures that have been taken now, but they seem to be belated. The centre has deployed 300 teams across Delhi to fight air pollution. It is keeping a close watch on polluting units and burning of wastes besides the construction activities. These decisions were taken during a meeting that was chaired by the principal advisor to the Prime Minister. Surprisingly, no senior government functionary attended that meeting. The Minister of Environment was not present as per reports. Now let's show you this tweet that the minister had put out earlier this morning. It reads, and I'm quoting, "Start your day with music." Below is the link to a scintillating thematic composition, Swagatam. His colleague, Dr. Harshvardhan, the Minister for Health, was also not a part of that meeting. He put out a tweet making a case for carrots and how they help fight pollution-related harm to health. All that said, let's now show you some figures from other cities that were recorded today. Our politicians need to have a look at this. These are the current AQI values of cities across India. Noida, for that matter, standing at 483. In Lucknow, it is 419. 481 in Gurugram. In Patna, it stands at 413. 326 in Jalandhar. Now compare that with Beijing. After all, there is so much talk about matching or beating China in economics, but no attention seems to have been paid to their anti-pollution measures, or for that matter, any concrete attempt at taking a leaf out of their book. Beijing's air quality improvement should be a model for Indian cities. Not long ago, New Delhi and Beijing were competing with each other for the infamous tag of being the world's most polluted city. While Beijing got busy in taking far-reaching measures and is on track, it seems, to shed that undesirable distinction, New Delhi has merely recognized the problem that is air pollution. In 1998, Beijing declared a war on air pollution. 21 years down the line, fine particulate pollution, or PM 2.5, has fallen by 35% in the surrounding Beijing region. What Delhi really needs is to take a page out of that book. Number one being an emergency action plan, a coordinated mechanism involving its adjoining states that needs to be put in place. Secondly, a stricter policy in implementing norms against air pollution. And lastly, time-bound targets for reducing pollution levels, because winter is approaching and the current state is only a reminder of what lies ahead. And that brings me to a series of burning questions. Delhi is literally the heart of the country, the political center of India. Is pollution not affecting our politicians? Instead of petty politics, shouldn't they come together and take direct action? And lastly, what's stopping the authorities from coming up with another Swachh Bharat pitch when it comes specifically to the issue of pollution and the emergency that we are staring at? Joining us on the broadcast this minute is air quality strategy expert Parthaa Bosu, live with us. Thanks very much for speaking with us. Let me first begin by asking you, having taken a look at the latest figures that are coming in, pollution levels have crossed the 700 mark on several levels and in several parts. What at this stage do you think India needs to do?
Yeah, so if you look at the current situation of Delhi and see what's contributing, I mean, going in a more scientific manner, you will notice that unfortunately it is the open fires, the biomass burning, which is causing most of these problems. So under the given circumstances, it becomes immensely important that this 40% of Delhi's contribution, which comes from the open fire, that needs to be controlled. And where does open fire comes from? It comes from basically the urban slums. So today morning I landed after a lot of attempts in Delhi from Calcutta. And when I was coming back at about 11 a.m. in the morning, I noticed that 2 or 3 urban slums were clearly, there was smoke coming out of the urban slums. Now, you see, it is a normal feature. They're not polluting. They're doing their daily business. They are cooking in biomass. That is what they have been doing for ages. It is now the situation is that even a small smoke is going to remain suspended for hours and weeks. So I think the enforcement of this area, which is contributing nearly 40% of Delhi's air pollution currently, has to be stopped. You see, the situation is such that we cannot add anymore. So we have to stop what is coming and then control what is existing right now.
Right, and speaking about controlling the menace, for all this talk about competing with rivals like China when it comes to various sectors, should we not be looking at how Beijing, for example, is handling the pollution crisis?
Yeah, you see, one of the greatest learnings that comes from Beijing is its enforcement. Beijing, I will not say that India has not been doing or Delhi has not been doing good things. They have been doing fantastic things as well. The judiciary has been immensely helpful. The EPCA is trying to be as proactive as possible. But then the problem remains at the enforcement level. China has been fantastic with the enforcement. I mean, it has, whenever the situation has come, it has stopped the vehicles from entering, and it has remained it like this. over a period of time now, vehicles which do not have the yellow labels cannot enter Beijing. The polluting industries have completely moved out. Now, talking about polluting industries, as per the judiciary, the government of India's ordered the by the order of the Supreme Court, Honorable Court, most of the polluting industries have moved out of Delhi, and that has happened a long time back. But unfortunately, there are many small-scale industries which still continue to work within Delhi, and they are immensely polluting. There are a lot of pockets in Delhi, like Narayana and Mayapuri, which are small-scale industries, and they're contributing every day. So solid enforcement like Beijing, China, we need to do that at this stage.
Right, and it's safe to say that this is an emergency that was very well on the horizon. We could all see it coming. Why do you think then the government has not tried to reduce the risks, and we unfortunately seem to see the same story repeating all over again this year as well?
Yeah, so if you look at the current situation, well, see, there are two things in air pollution. We have to understand that air pollution is, first of all, any activity that we do causes pollution. That is number one. I mean, any kind of burning, industrial activity, vehicles, etc. Everything contributes to the air pollution. Everything has its load. Some will contribute more, some will contribute less. But one thing, and those are the emissions part, and that is something which we can control. But there is one part which helps in air pollution and which we can't control is the weather. You see that Delhi, why? So the air pollution in Delhi is there every time. Let me tell you that. It is just that at this stage it is more measurable and it is more visible, and it is condensed at one place, and that is because of the weather. There is almost zero or negligible wind movement at about 5 to 8 kilometers per hour speed. The direction is not supporting because it is coming most from the west, which is bringing anything that's happening in the agricultural burning. If whatever is there, it is adding to that. Apart from that, there are no rains. There is no, there are no depressions. So, I mean, it is going to be remaining there. So it is sometimes difficult to predict, yes, but there are models by which scientists are predicting. There are WRF models which people are using, and I think we have to get into that mode very, very seriously now.
Absolutely. What about the alternatives to stubble burning? Has the government, according to you, failed on that front as well? Because without those alternatives, we see as many as 3,000 farmers nearly being acted against in the latest reports that are coming in. But what about the alternatives that have been spoken about, and have those efforts not been successful, according to you, so far?
So let's understand that stubble burning probably has been there for a very long time. My family was once upon a time into agriculture, and when I speak to them, I understand that there was some or little level of burning that was always done. But then the labors were manual, therefore the amount of stubble that was generated was limited. So it is also a question of volume that is being burned. Right now, the situation is such that the mechanization, after the mechanization, the amount of stubble that is remaining in the fields is very high, because of which there is a huge amount of smoke which is being there. Now, the government of India, and with its experts on agricultural technical advisors, have developed this happy cedar, which it is promoting in a very big way. The penetration is still slow, and the government is trying probably everything it can to penetrate and ensure that more and more farmers use it. So stubble burning this is the alternative to stubble burning. The only thing is that more and more people accept it, more and more farmers use it, and that is then when it becomes a proper alternative.
Right, and before we let you go, just to help our viewers better understand the phenomenon or the crisis that we are looking at, what according to you has changed in the last few years for the situation to have become this dire?
Well, the situation that has happened is that, as I said, that Delhi has having its pollution levels always in a very high zone. Sometimes when we look at good data and we say that, oh, Delhi has been fantastic, we forget to recognize and acknowledge the fact that it has been the weather which has been helpful in keeping it clean. Which was the case in case of September because of the long rains and also good winds. Now, under the current circumstances, one of the things that we need to do is bring our scientific community together. There has to be a special room which monitors air quality, works on its forecasting, and keeps it together. And the other part is that we have to be very, very concerned now about air pollution's transboundary effect. You see, the pollution that is now getting concentrated in Delhi, it is not just going to go there everywhere. I mean, it is not going to be completely absorbed by the trees. It is just going to go into another state from here. So there are neighboring states and cities which is going to get affected. So we have to look at it from a very, very strict perspective. And now it is probably beyond states, and the government of India needs to step in and look at it.
Absolutely. It's a crisis that needs radical measures, a multi-pronged approach. We're going to leave it there for the moment. Parthaa Bosu.